guys, it's Kat. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing today? I kind of feel like icky. I had to start taking a new antibiotic for a bacterial infection. And it's making me lose my appetite, and I don't like that because then I will inevitably forget to eat and then faint at some point in the day. So I don't feel great. My insides kind of feel like gravy. I have attempted to make this video two times. Two times! So I have a script for this video, and I'm going to be looking over at my script that's very sectioned and well put together so the video won't be so long, so I can still get all my points across. So if you see me looking over here, that's what I'm looking at. Anyway, today's video topic, we're going to be doing a commentary thing on Myka Stauffer. If you don't know who that is, I'm going to get into it in a second, but the Stauffer family in general was in some hot water about a year ago, and I wasn't even that long ago. No, it was like in July. So I probably should have talked about this when it was more of a hot topic. But I wanted to do this video from the point of view of somebody who is an overseas adoption. And I just didn't know how to do it. And I just wrote this script a few days ago because, like I said, I've tried to make this video many times and it just hasn't worked. So I'm talking about it now. And let's dive in here. Myka Stauffer is a YouTuber who's a family vlogger. I already have my own issues with family channels. She has a family channel with her husband James, and they make a lot of, family related videos like baby videos and the like. The couple has 4 children, and a few years back decided to adopt a child from China who happened to have special needs. In the summer of 2020, the couple announced that they'd be rehoming the child due to it being too difficult for them to handle his needs. The child had a traumatic brain injury, a brain tumor, and was on the autism spectrum, among other diagnoses. And the couple received a lot of backlash, obviously, after making this decision. But I'm obviously, that's a good thing for the child. I'm very happy that he's away from these people. But I'm sure the experience that he had with these people and then being ripped away from them must have been traumatizing for this child, so that's not good. And the couple clearly did not treat their adopted child the same as their biological children and used what some would consider barbaric methods of punishment, such as duct taping the child's hands because he had a problem with sucking his thumb, and the other children in the home also had problems with sucking their thumbs, but they didn't duct tape their hands. But thankfully now the child is placed with a family who can take care of him and meet his needs. For the record, when I had problems with sucking my thumb when I was a kid, my mom's solution was mittens. Myka Stauffer had like a video diary type series of videos before the child was adopted to document their journey and her feelings on the whole thing. And I found this very common for a lot of families that adopt children. I'm an overseas adoption, and my boyfriend is an overseas adoption as well. I'm from Kazakhstan, and he is from Russia, so we're kind of neighbors. Both his parents and my parents had like a whole video diary. My mom had a blog documenting everything, so I find that to be very common. In these videos, she made it very clear that she was well aware of the child's needs, and she tried to see the positives in all of his diagnoses in adopting a child with special needs. In one ear and out the other was how she described it when she was speaking with a doctor who allegedly advised against adopting this child due to potentially not having the time or skill set to raise him. And in my eyes, Myka was well aware of the issues that the child had and just chose to be irresponsible and ignorant.
So when I heard all of the things that doctor was telling us, it kind of went in one ear and out the other. I wasn't in a state of denial. I accepted and took on everything that she said. She provided them, and if anything, my child is not returnable.
All of this goes for the husband as well, but in the past and coming after this, I'm not sure how long Myka and James Stauffer have been married, but I know Myka does have a child from a previous relationship, and old friends of the Stauffer family have come forward and said that Myka herself has rehomed several dogs. She had an issue at work with getting physically violent with a pregnant woman. So as much as James is at fault here as well, because, you know, it's both of their faults for being knowingly ignorant and irresponsible, Myka just seems, yeah. Throughout the video diary, she continued to advertise fundraisers where each donation would go to unlock a piece of a puzzle that would reveal a picture of her son that she would then reveal to the world. She was handing out pieces of this picture of her son like they were lottery tickets. All of this was monetized. To give you some more insight into what I'm getting into here, I'm going to tell you my story, my adoption story. When I was adopted, my mom had a video diary and a blog documenting her experience and my dad's experience when they initially found out when they were going to adopt me and when they brought me to the United States. They documented everything. My mom is Catholic, so initially my family wanted my parents to adopt from a Christian adoption agency, but they were unable to due to the fact that most of the ones that they got in contact with would only allow them to adopt special needs children due to the fact that my parents were like 40, 50 years old. Then my parents decided to look into overseas adoptions, and they found a baby house, which is, I guess, our word for orphanage, our being me and other people from that country. I guess that's our word for orphanage in Kazakhstan, but they found a baby house in Kazakhstan, and then they found me. And obviously they liked me and they adopted me. When they were introduced to me, they had gotten a letter from my mom's biological sister detailing what had happened with my mom and what led to me being put up for adoption to begin with. My mother had a lot of mental health issues, and my aunt warned that those issues may be passed down to me, and lo and behold, she was right. I had a lot of issues with hostility and violence when I was a child, and which is now known as oppositional defiant disorder. You can look into that. I struggled with that as a child, and when I got older, it got a lot worse and eventually developed into very severe, I guess, violent behaviors related to obsessive compulsive disorder, which is a whole other thing that I'm not going to get into now. But I was very hostile and, you know, just, yeah, not great because of those issues when I was a teen. But my dad and my mom never gave up on me. My dad is on the autism spectrum, and that, along with having a child with severe mental health issues, could not have been easy for my mom, but she never abandoned me or my dad as a result of those issues because she made a commitment specifically to me. That said, I'm not disabled. I do not have a brain tumor. I'm not on the autism spectrum. I haven't had a traumatic brain injury. However, I've had issues with panic and anxiety, hostility, and horrible mood swings pretty much my entire life, and which resulted in physically hurting people and substance abuse, self-harm, and such into my teen years and or into early adulthood. In early adulthood, I developed some more physical health issues as well, which likely drained my parents' bank account because of the insurance bills from me going to the doctor constantly for these issues. And I was in and out of hospitals and treatment programs a lot when I was a teenager for mental health reasons, and I can only imagine how difficult that was for both of my parents. And when I was a baby, I had an issue where the bones in my skull were not developing properly, and they thought that I was going to have some issues there, maybe have to wear a helmet and maybe have surgery, and it was very panicky time for my parents, but I grew out of it. Thankfully, I'm okay, but my parents never thought to send me back or to rehome me because it was too hard. Now, my mom is a professor at a university, so I kind of grew up around that life, being at my mom's work, and A lot of people, especially in the department she works in, everybody knows everybody, and the university is small, so everybody knows everybody. And after I got here, she got a lot of attention from people at her work, and it was well known that, oh, look, professor's daughter just adopted a little girl from Kazakhstan. Like, oh, that's so exciting. It was a well-known big good news around the university. Everybody was very happy for her. But in my memory, when I was around 6, 7, 8 years old, I remember hearing about a lot of people in my mom's department adopting from Kazakhstan, Russia, or the surrounding regions, like Kyrgyzstan. And now looking back at it, it seems to me, this is how I view it. If you view it differently, you can let me know in the comments, but this is how I viewed it. It seemed like a lot of my mom's coworkers and people that my mom knew attempted to Americanize their newly adopted children, changing their names to standard American names and washing away any glimmer of their heritage. Thankfully, my name was never changed, and I've always been well entwined with my Russian and Kazakh heritage. But it seemed like all of these people adopted from overseas after my mom had done it to get some of the recognition my mom had gotten, or just because it sounded like a cool idea without actually looking into it. Myka Stauffer had also talked about wanting to adopt a child from Haiti or Ethiopia, as well as adopting this child from China, which is fine. But then if you look at the big picture of her using her children by putting them online and having them fund her luxurious lifestyle, along with the clear favoritism of her biological children, it looks very bad. She also said this, allegedly, she said this in a Facebook group. I saw this comment on Ready to Glara's video about the situation. I will link that video in the description. I saw this comment in response to the screenshot that I just put up, and I thought it was just so... I just had to include it. That statement alone, and the fact that she describes her former son's disabilities like quirks and something fun, look at the positive, shows that she wanted to be a savior for the adopted children that may feel abandoned, and I want to get recognition for adopting all the poor babies in these overseas countries, rather than actually wanting to take care of the child because that would make her and the child happy. I feel like she just wanted to be recognized as the savior, and I'm going to get so much money from being the savior to all these children. Kind of like those popular girls in high school that would take special needs kids to dances and would kind of treat them like pets. So I would be like, oh my God, Paisley, you brought him to the dance. That is so sweet. that kind of thing. The fact that she has allegedly rehomed several animals in the past doesn't help in swaying my opinion at all. After the adopted child was brought to the United States, Myka had another child after some time and turned a lot of her attention to blogging about that child. It's been very clear that Myka Stauffer likes to favorite her biological children over her adopted child. Myka had been through pregnancy many times before this, so she knew the drill of what was gonna happen. I know every pregnancy is different, but you know the drill after having 3 kids, right? I feel like she may have had the baby. This is just an opinion, potentially a theory, not a fact. This is just what I think. I feel like she might have gotten pregnant and had this other baby to rake in more views and attention because maybe people weren't paying as much attention to her adopted child anymore because they had him for a few months, a year at that point. And the husband is just as much at fault. I will never understand why people think it's okay to exploit young children for either views, money, or popularity. That's the big issue I have with family channels. Don't stick a camera in your kid's face just as soon as they're born just to make money to fund your luxurious lifestyle. What part of you thinks that's okay? Considering the vast differences in how this couple treated their adopted son versus their biological children, it's clear to me that his overseas adoption was a money grab and a way for Myka and James to feel like a savior to a child that may have felt unwanted. This whole story just reeks of irresponsibility and ignorance. When it didn't work out the way that they planned, despite being well aware of the child's issues, they rehomed the child and continued making all of their money. Had they not been internet famous, I do not think they would have adopted this child. I think they might have just had one more baby and moved on. Imagine how that child must feel being tossed from home to home to home, and how traumatizing that must be, especially having special needs. I feel like maybe he'll feel unwanted when he gets older, and it could become a real problem just because these people wanted to be ignorant and irresponsible and wanted to make all of their money. And I feel so much for that child as an overseas adoptee. Being adopted from another country is difficult to grasp, and it's especially difficult when you're growing up and trying to learn where you came from, at least in my experience. But my family didn't give up on me for selfish reasons, because they got nothing out of adopting me other than the child that they always wanted, because they can't bear their own children. The fact that Myka and James Stauffer used this disabled child, knowing full well what their issues were, and decided to use this child as a money grab, a fame grab, and just going into it irresponsibly and like just riddled with ignorance, disgusts me. And I seriously hope that that does not inspire any families to do the same. This might be a little bit of a petty nitpick, but I think after everything I just said, I think it's warranted. Anybody who named their kid Onyx shouldn't have children. So all of that said, I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, have a good day or night or whatever, wherever you are.